Good morning.
Morning.
How are you? So good to see you.
Great.
It's hard to believe you and I have known each other for, golly, almost 20 years now, back from our SCT days. Welcome, and if you could maybe tell the audience a little bit about your career and how you kind of got to being the CEO of Vertex, I think that'd be something people would like to hear about.
That's great. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. It's good to see us both up here and still in the industry. I know I started my career in the utility space. Started out as an electrician, worked my way through university, and then right into consulting. Got into the energy utility space and haven't looked back. Right, have seen this industry change and adapt to things that at one point we thought were moving very rapidly, but as you compare that to today, things are just moving at epic pace. And so we're seeing the change that's happening in this industry. You know, I want to be part of that change. And so coming up through, again, with us spending some time at SCT and the Banner product from a CIS perspective, and then moving into Oracle and some large consulting firms with HCL and the work that we did around the SAP platform, you started to see the transformation that was happening from a cloud perspective across the industry, and got me very interested in the company I work for today, which is Vertex. You know, Vertex had been providing cloud-based services for the last 20 years to utilities with a different name, hosting and managing full support of those customer environments for very different reasons, but has been doing it for a very, very long period of time. So when I started to see the shift to cloud across other industries and saw utilities starting to play more of a role in the cloud space, I quickly realized this was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And so, you know, been here for 5 years now, very excited about what's happened with this conference and with utilities in general, just moving to cloud, adopting cloud, and really seeing the benefits that, you know, we've been touting to the industry for the last 20 years, but more specifically, we've gotten traction in the last 5 years as you started to see this market evolve.
Right. And as a cloud provider, you guys have been doing some type of managed hosting, as you said, for a long time, just different software. Right. SAP is your big partner now. Maybe tell us about that relationship.
Yeah, so we took an evaluation 5 years ago shortly after I joined, and we started working with the organization to say, how do we want to go to market as a company? We have two products in our stack of solutions, and both of those products have continued to maintain currency. They are leading products. They have numbers of customers on them, but we wanted to look at an additional opportunity to drive, you know, really the service provider aspect of our business, not so much the software development aspect. You know, one thing that we are really known for is our ability to service and deliver outstanding service over a period of time to our customers. And, you know, the software, both Oracle and SAP have gotten to a point where the functionality of the base solutions are pretty standard. It's really the solutions that they're putting around the core that has really evolved them to the point where they're at today. And so, you know, we looked at that and said, if we really understand our market segment, which we service customers anywhere from 50,000 utilities to about 2 million and above, some of our customers are larger than that, but, you know, we look at that market space and we saw an opportunity for us to leverage the SAP platform, the excellence that they've had as the largest provider of customer information systems and really core systems for utilities, and provide a solution set around the cloud that was focused on integrating into their business. So for example, our solution set goes beyond just the typical CIS in the cloud. These are functions and applications that are integrated into their business. So things like analytics or omni-channel or engaging with those customers and driving behaviors not only by the customers, but driving those behaviors through the interaction with the employees with those customers. So, you know, we focused on leveraging SAP at the core, but really it's just the tip of the iceberg. The services that we provide around our cloud-based solution really are around that integrating to their business, which has provided the most value for our customers.
Great. And to that point, you're not just offering a CIS system. Y'all are providing multiple different apps as a service now as well, correct?
That's correct, yeah. So, you know, when we started this journey, obviously customer information systems was, you know, for the last 20 years have been cash register of the utility, one of the largest, you know, most complex elements of the implementation. And it's still the case, but you look at the tools and the systems that sit around that CIS and are integrated, such as mobile dispatch and the customer engagement tools and the omni-channel, and how do we use all these other analytics that pull data out of that system and really integrate with the customer and the employee, you start to see where the value connections are to those customers. And it's really about how do we create a subset of tools, Vertex tools and partner tools that sit around the core, and then how do we focus in on the core customer information system by going in at low risk, lower cost, and in a way that we can capitalize expense for our utility customers today, knowing where the regulations are, but at the same time providing all that value that surrounds it with our own IP and with other utility providers.
Right, because you guys extend SAP and add extensions, and like you said, you've got other products to kind of make that overall solution. So y'all are
our job
deep.
is to simplify the use of SAP. SAP is developed for a global utility base, and dealing with utilities in the size segment that we talked about earlier, you have different requirements, different usability of the solution in those different market segments. So really focusing on how do we right size that for our customer base, regionalize it for each one of the utilities, but do it in a way that provides them some prescription around how the implementation should go at a low cost, low risk, and low timeline is really some of the key differentiators about Vertex. We started off having an application business and a call center business, and we were operating more than 20 million end-use consumers. And so when we built VertexOne, we looked at all of our services being provided across electric, gas, water, wastewater utilities of all different sizes, and really developed a solution that said, how can we drive the behavior of not only those agents, but of those customers? And how have we been successful at doing it in our own call centers? We find that to be extremely valuable for when we go into a utility of the 50 to 500,000 customer size that have the same issues that utilities in the larger tier 1 segment have,
right,
but also don't have the budget or necessarily the manpower, the people, let alone the budget to be able to implement those types of solutions with the complexity that's necessary to compete with the solutions that those utility customers are competing with, right?
Okay, great. So you've been in this business for quite a while now, and cloud, SaaS, whatever we want to drill down into the market segment. How do you kind of see the market evolving? Of course, we've got Google and Microsoft and Amazon now offering these, I guess, not SaaS applications per se to the utility market, but certainly infrastructure. How do you see the overall market sort of evolving?
Yeah, we look at it from a maturity curve, definitely. And I know maturity curves are used often in our industry segment, especially from a consulting perspective of what is evolving in the industry. But we see the on-premise, obviously, is where we all started. You see things like infrastructure as a service. You see a lot of these, the Google, the Amazons, the providing just the pure kit to run these systems. And then you see where the big software companies have gone, the Oracles, the SAPs, around a platform as a service, saying, sure, hey, we can provide ERP or CIS or EAM functions in a cloud-based environment through the provider of choice. But again, there is a lot of customization and a lot of configuration around the system. It's just being hosted by a third party. There's value there. And then you get to the next step, which is really that software as a service, where you start to see homogenizing of customers across a common code base, across a common platform. You see this in Salesforce.com and others that really are trying to drive to a central system that allows them to drive down the cost to serve, but at the same time drives up the functionality, and you kind of pick and choose what functionality you have. All the upgrades, functional and technical, are included. So that's where we see the market going, and while we want to fit within that last software as a service model, we think there's a step beyond it, which is what we call the business integration, or the software as a service with the business integration element, where we become more of a partner to that utility and providing things like analytics around how their call center agents should be engaging with those customers to drive different behaviors. Or how do we look at those analytical tools that we have created inside of VertexOne and start to determine new strategies around how we can drive more customers to the web or whatever channel we prefer to. Things that are actually driving behavior becomes, puts us at a position where we're more integrated to their business and really helping them shape how they engage with those customers. It completely changes the whole software as a service landscape, because we're further pushing that utility customer to the greatness level that they would expect or that they would desire.
Right.
Right. When we do a project, it's not a 12, 18, 24 month, then we're done. It's a 10, 20-year relationship with these customers. And we've never lost a cloud customer since we've adopted them, right, at Vertex, which is a testament to our ability to keep, retain, and really drive value based on that business integration aspect of it. Many might think that that drives more cost, but the reality is as you look at that business integration software as a service, it comes into driving out operational cost, driving the performance of the utility itself, and really achieving the value that they expect in a very, very short period of time. If you look at our latest go live at DC Water, the business case being $27 million positive ROI. When was the last time you saw a positive ROI on a CIS implementation? And the answer is probably never, right? We see very costly implementations at some of the largest tier 1 utilities across North America. And we look at those as being a sunk cost and necessary cost of doing business. With VertexOne and that business integration software as a service we talked about, it takes all of the benefits of software as a service, that fully integrated upgrades and engagement of the business, and puts it into one package that allows them to drive down operational cost over the long term.
And in your model as well, I think one of the big advantages of a SaaS model would be continuous innovation, as you're alluding to today, and upgrades that are more automatic. Y'all are kind of driving that same model, or how's that working for you guys?
So the upgrades is a good discussion, because a lot of people talk about upgrades included in their, whether it's a platform as a service play or even a software as a service play. And the reality is that upgrades come in both a technical fashion and a functional fashion.
Right.
Vertex, we push the limits with the functional fashion. So we ensure that the upgrades are included to move the application forward, but also to take advantage of new functionality that we continue to add to our platform. So as a service to our customers, all upgrades are included, functional and technical, really, again, integrated into their business, so that when new technology comes out from either SAP, or technology comes out with a new partner that we've engaged with to be part of the VertexOne integrated suite, or if we develop our own application set that really extends the value of our solution, we look at all three of those options as things every year we're continually providing upgrades to our customers. And it's something that, again, you look at that evolution, you look at the confusion of cloud in the industry, it really comes down to, well, what am I getting out of the service that I'm contracting for? Cloud, as you know, is a word that is used often and not necessarily defined clearly. And so we're trying to give some definition around what is it that we do differently from a cloud perspective.
Right. A couple more questions.
Sure.
In regards to the market, I think 2 years ago you and I sat down and had a conversation, and we were starting to see people asking about cloud and kind of kicking some tires. My opinion is that it looks like we're getting to more serious people taking cloud in the utility space more as an option. What are you guys seeing?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, we would say, we're not going to move our data to the cloud. We're not going to take the risk of having a third party be responsible for things that could, be like a security breach or something of that respect, to the exact opposite today, right? How do I have somebody else take the responsibility, have the capabilities around managing the risk associated with having customer data or financial data, employee data within their organization? So I've seen that shift happen. Clearly, the biggest challenge that we see in the industry around cloud has been around the capitalization mark. And we have talked about that extensively throughout the industry. And one of the things that I spend a lot of time struggling with is, if I create a 100% cloud-based company, which you look at many of the different delivery models of license and services that are being proposed, it is primarily an OpEx, right? So we had to compete with a lot of different cloud variations out there in the market. And while the previous story that we talked about, the bold business integration, is very interesting and provides a lot of value, it did come down to the simple, how do we capitalize as much of this platform as possible? In the U.S., in order to capitalize, you need two things, right? The ability to take over the solution for de minimis cost, and the ownership of the data, the solution itself. One of the things we decided very early is that as part of our service, everything is included to our customers. The licensing,
Right.
everything is provided, but we bundle that up into a one-time cost up front to do the implementation, which is market competitive. In fact, some cases we've seen 40 to 60% reduction on implementations compared to others in the market. This is all a capitalized event, but when you look at the long-term run of it, if you think about the things that we're doing on a constant basis, even those become portion of those become a capitalized event. We've been able to work through some of the requirements in the local regions to ensure that we drive as much capital and drive out as much O&M.
Right.
And when you look at that business integration, if you have a fee that is an operational expense, you can start to subtract to that if you get the efficiencies. And as a company, we sign up for SLAs around delivering business outcomes for our customers to ensure that we meet those operational cost expectations and reductions in costs that were expected. So overall, I think when you look at it from that point of view, most utilities have adopted cloud as this is the direction. Some utilities are cloud only is the direction, but many of them are finding the discussion around how do I still capitalize this but still get the benefits, a very refreshing response to what they've seen in the market with some of our competitors. So something we're very proud of.
It sure feels like the market is shifting. My own experience is I'm hearing a lot more about cloud. Utilities are certainly open to putting their data in the cloud now with right protections and so forth. So it's changing.
Yeah.
Last question for you. What's next? What's new at Vertex? What do we have to look forward to new and exciting from you guys this year?
Yeah, so we continue to spread the boundaries of the solution set itself, and really looking at how do we get into new areas of customer engagement that are not necessarily what a utility typically thinks of. So a lot of the artificial intelligence, a lot of the Internet of Things, these are things that our teams are continuing to work on. We have a group of data scientists and analytic individuals that are trying to think of new ways that we can offer things from other industry segments to the utility industry to drive improved customer service, to drive improved employee engagement, things that are really around, again, that engagement of the customer and engagement of the employee.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for being with us today, and look forward to seeing you around the summit this week. Have a great summit.
Rick, appreciate it. Thank you.
Right,
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.